Hello YouTube, welcome. A couple days late, but welcome to another instant analysis video. This time for Party Karin. As always, we're going to quickly talk about the SR and the start of a new costume set, Loveless World Kotori, Elegant Attribute Skill Type. Nothing in here in her kit is really warranted for discussion. I will say though, for an SR, she does have decent appeal and tech stats for an SR. So those of you that want to challenge yourself and use this card for something a little more difficult, knock yourself out. But yes, this is the start of Loveless World costumes for Muse, so thank goodness. But I think we'd be remiss if we spent too much time on Kotori and not enough time on Party Karin. Captivating nighttime garden Karin, who is very diver diva-y in this idolized art. Natural attribute SP type. At max limit break 14,218, 5548, and 14,912. 60% crit rate. Yikes. That's good. Also yikes. She's a filler. Max 9%. Passive stats. This is where things get a little interesting. Karin's main passive is a 6.5% appeal up and a 3.2% tech up to all other natural attribute cards. And the part about the card that everybody's up in arms about, she has the Party Koto Party Mari LSA. On SP burst, increase skill activation by 15% for 5 notes applies to this card's entire strategy. Now, here is where the differences come in, right? If we think about all three of the cards, Party Koto, right? Party Koto had a same strategy, right? A same strategy passive, mainline passive, right? Party Mari had, oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. Party Koto has its same strategy, appeal and tech buff, 8.4 and 4.2%. Party Mari has an all buff. Party Mari, right, was a 5.2% and 2.6% all buff. Karin is now in the middle with a 6.5% and 3.2% appeal and tech buffs, but this time to same attribute cards. Now, does this make one better than the other? I mean, let's kind of break it down. Stat-wise, Karin by itself is better than Party Mari. However, I would say she is roughly on par with Party Koto. You have to take into account like some of the stat things. Now I will say Party Karin, her kind of base stats with her appeal and her tech, even when you factor in the passives, they end up being slightly higher than Koto, but, and here's where the big but comes in. Pre-Party Karin, how many people were using Second Fest Karin a lot? And how many people are like diehard Karin Oshis? Not a ton. Right? So there are going to be a smaller amount of people that will have Karin at bond board 100 than you would Koto. So what I think will end up happening is unless you're heavily penalized for running off attribute on a natural attribute song, what I can end up seeing is that this be kind of that Party Cannon ends up being like your main filler card. If you're going, for, a very whaley, triple filler, triple choker, even with the new 100k tap cap, triple filler, triple choker, second fest Dia, Party Cannon, second fest Ruby type of strategy. This card fits in basically very, very perfectly. Now, what ends up happening on natural attribute songs is that instead of, you running Party Cannon with Third Fest Nico and Party Koto, and everything centering around Party Koto, Karin ends up being the kind of center build around card, right? Just because of the nature of her higher stats, and that even with a slightly weaker passive than Party Koto, her, if you're able to quickly get her to board 100, all things being equal, she will tap higher and more consistently than Party Koto will. Now, does that mean you're going to use her a lot though? Right? Because at least Koto, pre-Party Koto had some pretty decent cards that you would use a decent amount. Karin, on the other hand, outside of Second Fest Karin, doesn't really have a lot in when you're thinking about strong cards that will help you score for your Volrans, your channel rankings, your SBLs, right? Karin, outside of Party Karin and Third Fest Karin, which is super, super recent, didn't really have a ton of strong cards. The only other strong card she had was Second Fest. So now basically Karin's last 3 Fest cards have made her such that if you happen to have all 3 of them, they serve a very, very good purpose in kind of balancing out your attribute pool, right? Second Fest Karin gives you a very, very good active attribute score. Third Fest Karin gives you a very, very good pure attribute score. And now Party Karin gives you a very good natural attribute score. Now, as Martha's been mentioning over and over, Party Karin is one now in a very, very long line of natural attribute fillers. Because if we go to Kirara and we sort natural attribute fillers from appeal high to low, and we fill a percentage of the SP gauge and we click search, Party Karin, Third Fest Shizu, Third Fest Nico, Second Fest Ruby, Second Fest Dia, Party Rena, Valentine's Honoka, First Fest Emma. I'm not gonna really count Cyberworld Ayumu or Sideways Maki, but if you look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 completely viable natural attribute fillers. Now, I would say the weakest one out of this is Shizuku by far, because she's the only one she's one of 2 that don't have a crit profile. Third Fest Shizuku and the other one being Valentine's Honoka. But you can use, right, all other 6 of these cards, Karin included. Is it a gotta pull though? Not necessarily. Now, me personally, since I guess you could call me a bit of a masochist, I am going to pull for this Karin right after we end this video, and that scouting video will go up on YouTube in a couple days. But do I need to do this? No. And for those of you that are still recovering from 3rd anniversary, if you already have at least one of Party Koto or Party Mari or both, you don't need to pull for Karin. Just continue saving your gems for something. Now, let's say you have the gems, but you don't have a ton of party cards, and then you like, let's say your only other party cards are like, you have Party Daya, you have Party Eye, and you have Party Mia. Now, in that case, where your party card pool is a little bit on the smaller side, if you had enough gems to spark and you wanted to spark this, by all means, right? Because now this gives you 3 of the skill activation rate up on gauge usage cards that you can hit, right? You can hit Karin, you can hit Mari, and you can hit Koto, right? There's a chance that over the course of your pulls, you can get all 3 of them. But, like, again, if you already have one of them and you feel like you can do without, by all means, feel free to skip it. I'm not going to force anybody to pull, and I know there aren't a ton of Karin Oshis out there, even though I myself, on the Seiyu side, I would say I'm a pretty decently sized Miyutan Oshi. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, again, finally, very good card. If you have the extra gems and you want to pull for it, go ahead. But again, if you can't spark it and or you already have Mari and Koto, you don't necessarily need this card. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, YouTube. We will see you in a couple days for the actual results of these party Karin pulls. And until then, feel free to join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/IamTheShaz. My schedule's been all over the place recently. I just came off of a 60-hour work week and a day this past Saturday where I slept for almost 16 hours to have my body recuperate because I was dead tired. But yeah, I try to stream, 4 to 5 times a week. Whether it be All Stars or even more recently Dota 2. Feel free to join us, come hang out, and until next time, we'll see you all later. Bye.